Alright, what's up, people? Whoever's watching, I don't know. If you haven't seen by the title, we have big news. I'm not doing any rambling. This is serious time. Nintendo is discontinuing the eShop for the Nintendo 3DS family and the Wii U couple, I guess. There was a Wii U Deluxe and Wii U Basic, so what am I supposed to say? We had a family and a couple. But I have the page next to me of customer support. I'm gonna go through pretty much everything here and what it says. Not my reaction necessarily, but my opinion on it. Because I'm a nerd and just I can do this. I have the power to fight me. You don't want to fight me? Whatever. I don't care. But we're gonna dive right into this. If you haven't seen this, you can probably see it by going to. You can probably see the Twitter post of what I'm going to talk about from Nintendo America, and they just flat out tell you, like, it wasn't like a build up. It's just like, no. Look at the memories, and just 2 days later they're just like, yeah, we're gonna discontinue it. And then just an entire customer support forum was released for it, stating what's going on. So I have the page right in front of me, literally in a page, so it's a website and on paper. I just decided to print it. And it's I'm gonna paraphrase just in case I don't want to get in trouble. It says that in late March of 2023, you are not going to be able to make purchases on the eShop of the Wii U and the 3DS systems, the family and the couple. And you're at past a certain point, you're not going to be able to re-download free content or game demos or anything that, and they're not planning on making any plans to re-release it. Sorry for the burp. But they're gonna do it in a timely fashion, like we did, and the DSi, which I'm still mad about it to this day. Like, we're not gonna talk about it. It says that in May 23rd, 2022, you are not going to be able to use a credit card to add funds to your Nintendo account in the Nintendo eShop on the Wii U or the 3DS systems. So that pretty much means is that you're not going to be able to directly purchase items via the credit card like you did on the eShop. Personally, I never used the eShop at the Nintendo Wii U shop. I just never used the 3DS family. Like, I've been wanting to get my hands on it, but after they decided to, like, hey, let's start production on the day I could buy one, and they all skyrocketed in price, I was like, you know what, forget it. But anyways, moving on. You're not able to directly put funds into your account via the credit card way. And it says, in August 29th, 2002, you are not able to use a Nintendo eShop card to add funds to an account on Nintendo eShop Wii U or the 3DS systems, which I'm guessing is the gift cards, which is going to be funny when somebody buys you a gift card and then you find it the day after, like just like August 30th, just like, oh, my gift card for this thing. You're just like, sorry, can't use it, waste of $10. Anyways, oh wait, no, I stand corrected. I didn't finish reading it. It says, however, it will still be possible to redeem download codes until late March 2023, or when it officially shuts down. And furthermore, it says users who will link the Nintendo ID wallet, which is apparently used on the Wii U and 3DS systems, with their Nintendo account wallet, which is used for the Nintendo Switch systems, can be used to share balance to purchase content on any of these systems until late March 2023. AKA, if you have a Switch and you use the digital wallet that's on the Switch, you can use those points or whatever cards you can do it. You can send that over to the 3DS or the Wii U shop, and you can purchase content that way. I see that as a nice little loophole because they're keeping it alive for a little bit, but they're very much what's the word I'm looking for? They're they're not making it easy for you, and they're making it more harder on you. I can't find the word. Somebody please help me. Um, but pretty much it's still a way to purchase items until late 2023, and when you can't download games anywhere. And it's not going to be like the Wii where like after it closes you can download it your content again until a separate date, and then it completely shuts down. Because I mean, you can still download, I believe, your games from the Wii when if you've purchased it before the closing. You can still download your games to this day. I am not sure because I'm doing this completely unscripted, and just I'm not sure. I've seen videos from a few months ago that you can still do this, so I'm just basing it off that. Um, After that, the balance can only be used to purchase content from it. After March 2023, the balance can only be used to purchase content for the Nintendo Switch family systems. So basically, after the closing, how are you gonna use your wallet and thing? It's a no-brainer. This sentence doesn't make sense to me. On to the next one. No changes are planned for the Nintendo eShop on the Nintendo Switch No changes are planned for the Nintendo eShop on the Nintendo Switch family of systems. They're not going to continue it. They're not going to. Um, there's nothing going to change on the Nintendo Switch side of things. That does also mean that probably the updates that you have on the eShop right there already is probably going to stay that way, which, I mean, I don't mind. Stores are stores. It doesn't matter how outdated they look. I'm talking to you, DSI, but we're still here. Um, and so with that in mind, yeah, I just want to talk to you guys for a second. Do you like store closings? I genuinely don't, simply because of two reasons. Number one, if you have content that you purchased, and then after that, you leave it for a few years, and you didn't know that the store closed, you can't recover your digital stuff. You can't do that. And just, there's no possible way you can have your stuff back. Because after it's closed, and if you didn't have an account tied to that system, you're out of luck. I'm sorry. You can't get it back. I'm sorry. Another thing is that it does definitely, I wouldn't say stimulates, because that sounds like you're taking medicine, and it just sounds bad in general, especially when you're getting a wisdom tooth taken out. But it just it makes people preserve. I'm just going to say this in that way, out of fear of YouTube demonetizing me, even though this video is probably not getting any money anyways. But I don't even like it. My tongue is going 100 miles per hour. But all the hackers, pretty much everybody is going to be on this rush, going to archive everything, going to preserve every single game that they can. Now, you can't do that for every single game, and all the shelf holders, what people like to call them apparently. And, you can't save every single one of them. I get that. There's that one that slips through the cracks and is lost to the end of time. I'm talking to Dr. Mario, but they revived it years later. But we don't talk about him anymore because he's not lost in time. So, right. Enough of that. On to the next sentence. I still have a lot of stuff to go. But I'll give my opinions as soon as we reach the Q&A section of this, which is going to be a long time. So, it says changes to the Nintendo eShop on Wii U and Nintendo 3DS eShop family of systems will simultaneously take effect in software on these platforms where it is possible to make purchases, such as Street Pass Me Plaza, Theme Shop, and Nintendo Badge Arcade. So this means that they're going to close down at the same time, And, like, you can't do anything about it. I don't know why this sentence even exists yet again, because nothing's new being in here. It just says that you can't make purchases. Like, that's pretty much obvious. Like, if you have a secondhand thrift store, and just like, oh yeah, the shop's closed, but you can still buy stuff from here, wouldn't it be considered open? I don't know. That's probably just me. Next sentence. Even after late March 2023, and for the foreseeable future, it will still be possible to re-download games and DLC, receive software updates, and enjoy online play on the Wii U and Nintendo 3DS family of systems. The only reason that this is probably existing is because of the physical aspects of the game. They don't want you to buy the digital games because they want to use probably their servers to focus more on the Nintendo Switch part of it, but they still have to keep that part, some part of the servers, so that you can re-download your games, you can get DLCs and this and that and the other. But people making their first time purchases on those actual stores are not going to be available for them, and they will receive continuous updates probably because of those game cards that are requesting it. Because if you haven't noticed, let's say you have a very old tablet and you need an update on your, I don't know, your YouTube, and if that was a physical card, that would it would render that game card useless. Cause I'm not saying that YouTube is in a physical card, but you get my analogy. If there's a card that makes it useless, what's the point of it in owning it? Because you just wasted that player's money. And even with the closing of the digital shop, no one's really losing here except for DLC, downloadable content, which is pretty much an add-on to the game. And there was games in that genre that required the DLC because for some odd reason there's these games that like you paid like $5 or $10 to like unlock episode 1, and then you'd have to unlock the rest via DLC, and you'd have to have that in your 3DS. I don't know, that's what I've heard before. And that was games that are going to be rendered useless. Not because of Nintendo screwing them over, it's because they wanted that game design, and I don't know. It was stupid game design. I still hate it to this day. I'm talking to the first, what's it called? Oh my gosh. It had this, what's her name? It's this lady that can go back in time, and this giant storm happens, and at the end of the game you have to make a choice on whether to save the city and kill yourself or something like that, or like, um, or your friend dies and you save the city, something like that. I don't know. Anyways, after that it says, we thank you for supporting the Nintendo eShop on the Wii U and the 3DS family of systems. But we hope that you will continue to enjoy using these systems. We have taken this opportunity to prepare a website where you can look back on your time and with them via various play statistics. Please visit, well, this, I'm not going to do that because it'll take way too long. Basically, they just want you to be more about it. Like, they want you to look back because I think they genuinely liked working on the 3DS family. It's just that when the Switch came out, it pretty much cannibalized the sales of the 3DS systems, especially the new ones. I think they had the original ones out first because that would make sense. And just on the new editions, which my favorite was the N2DS XL, I've had hands-on experience with it, and it was really, really nice, really clean. Everybody called it a phone, and I'm gonna lie, I can relate. It looks like a phone. If only there was a display on the top, but we don't talk about that. It's just clamshell, it's all covered. But it was a really nice phone. Like, it looked like they had genuine fun with it. And let me tell you, when Nintendo has fun, they make some good stuff. Have you not realized? They make some good stuff. Every time they try to remake something, it ends horribly. I mean, except a few minor times, but I'm mainly talking about the Wii U. We're moving on. We finally reached Q&A. I'm going to die. Alright, why is this happening? Isn't it obvious? Well, their answer is that this is a part of the natural life cycle for any product as it becomes less used by consumers over time. No, duh, you stop selling it, people break their 3DS, and of course it's gonna go down over time because they're getting broke, and no one knows how to fix them, except a few minded people, and those few minded people that know how to fix them are going to overprice it because there's not being sold anymore, and they're relying only on third party replacements, which aren't necessarily the best. And then there was that one flaw on the old and new systems, that if like the camera module was fried, like not the physical camera, but like the ribbon that goes into the motherboard, and if that thing's fried, the entire system shuts down, and you have to go through this giant, like 3 rings on fire and a half in order to get that ribbon replaced. And like, yeah, taking it out, fine, whatever. It just takes a really long time. But getting it replaced is a nightmare and a half. And just, I, I don't want to deal with it. I only dealt with it once, and that was for a friend. And I almost broke it on 2 occasions. We don't talk about that. It's a no. No, I'm not dealing with that. Which is probably why it's so dang expensive. And just, since that is happening all the time, there's no replacement parts, there's no refurbishments, no nothing. So of course it's going to go down over time, Nintendo. You're artificially creating it by not selling the console. Anyways, into the next question. Why are you announcing this now? We are providing this notice for more than a year in advance by the end, so purchases... I'm sorry, I read it wrong. We are providing this notice more than a year in advance of the end of purchases, so users will have plenty of time to prepare. And what if people don't know about it because you only said it in a tweet once? I mean, sure, there's been media coverage because I've been seeing it all over the place on YouTube, but sometimes people are very limited on what they have access to, and they don't know it until it's too late when they pop open 3DS and they want to play Pokemon Go, that's a mobile game, and they want to play like Pokemon Sapphire or whatever's on there, and they can't, because you know why? The store's closed, and they only had the digital version on their 3DS, and now they can't access it because of this thing. After I'm done reading all this Q&A, I'm just gonna go through something with y'all and why I think that stores, like online stores, are dumb. I'm going to release that after this video, and after it's all done and settled. Speaking of which, I need to speak to a few people on my kind of stuff. But into the next question. It says, are there any services or functions of Wii U or the Nintendo 3DS family of systems are going to be discontinued, such as online play? And their answer to this is that there is no plans to make any further changes at this time. I believe what they're trying to say is that they don't want to affect online play like what they did with the Wii so early, and Wii Connect 24. I almost said Wii Connect, but that's homebrew stuff. And I don't think they want to affect it that much, simply because that the 3DS is still making sales for them, and they generally want to keep that open simply because they don't want other games to use their own servers, because I think there's something like royalties that the company pays. I'm not sure, but they are not making any plans to shut that down. Probably another reason might be is that it's not really costing them in terms of monetary dollars to keep that up, unlike the Wii, since so many people was on it. Like, probably turning it off was probably best for them, but it was really annoying how they like shut it off like 5 years into its life cycle of the Wii. But for the Wii U, this time they're not touching it this time around. It said at the time. Watch it be like 2 months later, just like, hey, we updated the forum, it's shutting off in a month, but whatever. Next question. How long will it be possible to re-download previously purchased content on the Nintendo eshop for the Wii U and the 3DS family of systems? And how long will those systems still support online play? AKA, the second question is pretty much going with the first question, which obviously says that there's no plans to make any further changes at this time. And Nintendo says for its first question, my paper. It says, for the foreseeable future, it will be possible to re-download games and DLC, receive software updates, and enjoy online play on the Wii U and Nintendo 3DS family of systems. This I can somewhat agree with, but there's going to be a different video where I'm going to pretty much address the whole online stores and discontinuations and stuff. It's probably going to be another 20-minute long video. Oh crap, it is about 20 minutes. Oh well. on to the next question, because that last question was pretty much going to be like my access point to my next video. All right. There are still Nintendo eShop cards at retailers that will show the Wii U and 3DS logos. What will happen to them? Their answers is pretty much in three. Like there's three dots to it. And it says these cards will continue to be at retail while supplies last, meaning that they've probably shut down these cards. Like the production of these cards, they're gone. They're not going to be able to be purchased as soon as they're gone. Because supplies last, that means they're done. They don't want anything to do with the gift cards of these things. The second thing that they said is that all Nintendo eShop cards will be used to add funds to the Nintendo account balance for use on the Nintendo Switch. Simply meaning is that the 3DS cards are now going to be transferred as Nintendo Switch cards. Not the cartridges as those kind of cards, but like gift cards. You probably understood before I even accidentally confused y'all. And the third thing that they said is that this can be done via the Nintendo eShop on the system itself at the Nintendo Switch eShop. Since they're pretty much the same service, just on different systems, it should probably be easy. I actually want to test that. Like, I wish I could just go back in time right now to see if, like, 3DS gift cards would have worked on the Nintendo eShop for the Switch. I want to know. If you guys can tell me or like link a video or something of that happening before this announcement, I really would want to know. On to the next question. If somebody visits the Nintendo eShop and wants to download anything on the Wii U or Nintendo 3DS families after the late March 2023 shutdown, what will they be able to do? And they respond with a lengthy thing with a black dot number 1. It says on both platforms, users will still be able to, and these are in white dots, re-download content they own, which means obviously you can't purchase items in the shop because, well, the thing is discontinued, so you'd have to purchase items at the shop before March 2023, because if you're going to do it like the day before, you're pretty much playing dumb. I'm sorry, I'm very gassy today. And it also says download existing software updates, which means that the games that you already probably own on physical disc, you will still receive updates till what they saw the foreseeable future. But on both platforms, the users will not, and this is completely underlined, italicized, like bold everything, they will not be able to purchase any content, which is what I just said on the first blank point. And they also say that on the Nintendo 3DS, this includes paid content, plays, passes in software such as Street Pass, Me Plaza, Theme Shop, Nintendo Bridge Arcade, and the Pokemon Bank. I don't know what the Pokemon Bank is, but I know what the rest are. Somebody explain to me what the Pokemon Bank is. And they said on Wii U, this includes passes in software such as Wii Sports Club, also known as Wii Sports Club is now garbage because you have to use, in order to use Wii Sports Clubs, you have to purchase a subscription, and without the store, purchasing is not going to be available. So therefore, this game is going to be a dunce, and probably somebody's going to have to save it somehow, some way. But it's also kind of stupid that they're doing this to begin with, because of the video I'm going to release in probably a couple of days, because I'll be probably renting for hours, and I'm going to need somebody to help me edit that. But also, they're not going to be able to download demos and download free to start software. Again, this is obviously because any type of purchase you make, whether free or paid, is still counted as a purchase in the shop. So, yeah, you can't really do that. And after the shutdown, obviously you will not be able to redeem the download code because that option is not going to be available to you. And you will not be able to add funds to your Nintendo eShop balance either, again for the same reason. On the Nintendo 3DS family systems, users will still be able to download a small number of free themes from the theme shop. I can understand this simply because they're themes, and I believe they're not going to get rid of the themes that are on the Nintendo Rewards program, My Nintendo. If they do, that's going to be really dumb, but then again, that service is probably running through the Nintendo eShop, and it is considered a purchase since you're using these free coins that they're handing out to you. And when you decide to get one, it says, "Do you want to purchase?" Which kind of sucks. And if they remove this isn't going to be fun, at least for me in the future, because this would require for almost to get any of these features back, you would have to homebrew, and in some cases or in some places this is illegal to my knowledge, and this isn't helping anybody, honestly, except the company itself, because people are going to want to play their old games in the sense of like when they had them when they were a kid. Because I remember the 3DS coming out and it was like the coolest thing, and then the memes came out for the headache machine and it was just all too much fun. This brings me to the end of my pages, and yeah, it's pretty much the entire forum. They just wanted to shut it down. They finally did it. I'm still kind of mad that they did it 4 years after the release of the new Nintendo 3DS. So the people that were hoping to get it, and they did get it on launch of the new Nintendo 3DS XL or the 2DS or whatever, they only got 4 years of support. This also happened with the Wii U in terms of software updates, because like if you haven't noticed, if a product doesn't succeed, their heads are being chopped off in probably less than a year. I'm talking about the Virtual Boy, I'm talking about the Game Boy Micro, I'm talking about the Wii U after 4 years. Every single time they've messed up, they discontinued it either a few months to about a few years later. They don't want to make that a full cycle because they don't want to lose money. Actually, I think they lost money when they were selling the Wii U Deluxe. I think. I do not remember. Again, all this is non-scripted. I've practically done no research. I did a little bit of research for obviously the forums and my responses to these, but all in all, I'm just a little bit upset at Nintendo, simply because right now this is their wave of getting rid of the old and making way for the new. I mean, I get it. You have to have the new stuff up in front, but at least have that old stuff available to you. And please, for the love of God, it doesn't matter whether it's been 30 years after it has been not been selling, in terms of like it has not been for sale. Like for example, the NES, the SNES, the N64, the GameCube, the Wii. Well, I mean, the Wii, I think, I mean, I know they still do this for the 3DS and Wii U systems, but please make them repairable. Please. I remember my brother all the time taking my, well, not my, it was his PlayStation 2 to the repair shop, and every single time, I think for at least, I want to say 15 years, they had solid support for repairs of that system. And I think the same end date in terms of repairs happened to the PS1 too. They kept repairing until 2017. More than 15 years. I mean, come on. How hard is it to repair it's cheap, because you only got to get parts, and you only have to pay one person to repair one at a time. Or even then, there's machines that repair it for you. Apparently, I don't know, but I believe I have seen machines repair PS2s. Like, they discover what it is and then they put it on the conveyor belt to replace it or to fix it or something. But that's just, I don't know. I don't understand too. I like how Nintendo's always forward, and I like how Nintendo always recycles their ideas and makes them fresh again, but I don't understand why they get rid of the old so quickly. I genuinely don't. Just like, watch, next month is just gonna be like, oh yeah, the PlayStation 4 store is closing. Just like, yeah, we were kind of seeing it coming. Well, anyways, I'm going to catch you on the next one. Like, sub, yada yada. This if I'm so sorry. Anything that you do in terms of interacting with this channel does help me in the YouTube algorithm, except for the dislike button. If you hit the dislike button, I will murder your cat. Got it? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I won't murder your cat. I might murder pasta though, because pasta is really nice to eat. I'm in the mood for spaghetti. Well, I'm going to grab food now because I'm hungry now. I made myself hungry. Who knew? I'm going to catch you later. Peace.